So, I'm ready. Hello everybody, how are you tonight? It's Friday night, so you should all go into your weekend now, I reckon. I don't know if you can see there, alright, hang on. Is that okay? Oops, sorry. That should be fine. So, have you got anything exciting planned this weekend? So, I'll not only probably, I will be working this weekend, and so I thought tonight I'm gonna go on live again to get this piece almost finished. To those who don't know me, my name is Angela Bailey. I am the owner and creative energy of Elfen Helden. My shop is located nearby Frankfurt in Germany. And I am also a premier retailer for Dixie Belle paint, which basically is just in for just about 2 weeks now, which is brand new. And at the moment I'm doing a piece, which is this little beauty here. And what is done to it by now, I basically started before I put any paint on with cleaning the piece. You always should do that, whatever you plan on painting or whatever, you firstly should clean your piece. That's very important, because you never know where it's been, and if there's any residues on top, like grease or maybe smoke from cigarettes and stuff like that, the paint won't stick. In general, the paint we are using is, as I said, Dixie Belle paint. And Dixie Belle paint is a chalk mineral paint. It's very environmental friendly. It's water-based, and you can use it without gloss or anything. I already told the people yesterday, I've got very sensitive skin, and usually my fingers really get dry, and I get like blisters and stuff like that easily, and I can really work with those paints without having any problems. So that's absolutely great. The paints, as I said, are chalk mineral paints. They come in 69 various colors, and the colors we are using on this piece is Colonel Mustard, which is a nice yellow color. It's cotton, a pure white, and caviar, which is a really deep, rich black. And you can see the piece behind me. It's got already the whole body painted, and I've done 2 coats by now, and decided to do the inside of the piece in black, because the sides, let's see if I can turn that. You can see it's got like a webbing, and it's a nicer contrast when you look from the side and you see the black inside. We've done, as I said, 2 coats of the paint, done a bit of accenting on the legs here, and started painting the top, while there was a question from somebody who said, well, why didn't you just like put the yellow over the whole piece and then taped it off and then done the other half? Because what I've done, I first painted the yellow, taped it off, painted the yellow, and then I painted the white. And the reason I was doing that, firstly, I hate wasting. So the paint, which would have been underneath the second color, would have been wasted because you don't need it there. And as paint is expensive, I hate wasting. So that's the first reason. And the second reason is chalk mineral paints they build a little up more than like like a spraying paint or something like that, and therefore I preferred to do it in two separate layers, basically. First the yellow and then on the other side the white. I am a lazy painter, but on the other side I hate wasting, so that's the reason I've chosen to do it that way. And today we are going to do some stenciling, because this piece, as it says in the description, is inspired by Kenny Roberts, and he is he was a motorbike racer for Yamaha. He's from America, and he's a motorbiker from America, and the racing colors from Yamaha in the 70s and 80s when he was racing, they were red, I don't know why I only got red in my head, was yellow, white and black, and now and then they do have some special editions from their bikes also in those colors, and as we own one of those special editions also, I was inspired by that, and I wanted to do that piece in those colors, and also put the racing pattern on it, where I am using a stencil I've made myself basically, and at the moment I'm not sure if it's going to become a disaster tonight or not, because I've just put the second coat on about 1.5 hours ago. I didn't have time till then, and usually when I do something like that, I really let it dry through for about overnight or 24 hours, something like that, so that the paint is really cured, because the stencil is sticky, and what can happen with something which is sticky when you pull it off, that you pull the paint off also. As I haven't been working with Dixie Belle before, this is the first piece I'm doing with those paints. I'm also not sure how this is going to stick, because chalk mineral paints, who was working with them, they've got like a flat finish, and they've got like a little bit of a rough touch. So it could be that it won't stick. I had that with the paints I've used before. I used to do my chalk paints myself, and they've been rougher than that, and I sometimes had problems that it's stuck properly. This stencil I made is with a masking film from Aura Mask. Can you see that? Yeah, it's from Aura Mask, and as I do also t-shirts and rhinestone designing, like the shirt I'm wearing at the moment, I do have a cutting machine, so the nice thing is that I can also do my stencils myself. So that's what I've done here. So we'll see what happens. When you're watching, please let me know that you're there. Just say hello or send me a heart or something like that. And I'll also appreciate very much if you haven't done that yet, like my page, and if you like this video, and maybe if you also distribute whatever, put it out to the world that I'm here. That'll be great. I really appreciate that, as I'm a small business, and I depend on you guys supporting me, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you for that already. So let's see. We get started, and I'm just gonna take everything down. If we have time, we're gonna go to the sides later on also, and do some waxing on them. So I hope the paint is cured enough and this is going to stick. Otherwise, you see how we have to do a plan B, which painters always have. Not. So basically, this stenciling film has got like another film on top to put it on here. Now the nice thing about it, I don't know if you can see that, it's see-through. So you can really see where you put it down and adjust it then if it's needed. So just put that over the line. That's where I wanted to have it. Just like that. And border at the bottom. That looks pretty much good to me. So got a squeegee here to squeegee down. Sorry guys, you're not seeing my head, but that's not the important thing anyway. Now you can see what I'm doing here. You just squeegee that on. And if you want to have, what also can happen when you're stenciling, one of the problems is that it can bleed through, especially when the paint is building up and is a little rough. It can happen that it bleeds through. If you want to avoid that, you can either put the coat to the whole piece first. That's the one thing you can do. Or what you can also do when you have your stencil on, that the first layer you're doing is also with like a top coat or anything like that. And then you do the stenciling afterwards. As I've planned on distressing the piece a little bit, I'm not too worried about bleeding through, because this might give the piece a little bit of a nice touch. So I don't want to squeegee it on too hard, because as I said, I'm a bit worried the paint is not perfectly cured at the moment that I'm pulling it off. So let's see. Can you see what I'm doing? So now I'm pulling the transfer paper off to leave just the stencil on there. Just like a really thin film. It's a bit tricky. Keep it flat. And you can see it's already lifting a bit, but as long as it stays in shape, that's fine. And I lay it on then. So that's up. Let's reuse that for smaller things. Let's just keep that there for now. So now I'm gonna try to get that nice and flat, which is a bit of a process, but squeegee. There's a bit of a, let's see. And the stencilings I'm going to do with the Dixie Belle paint Caviar in black. Nice down, that there's no wrinkles or anything in there. There's one there. Lift it up a bit. Place that back down. There we go. That's nice and flat now. I cut the end. Scissors. Say hello, where are you? If you have any questions, just feel free to put them in the comments. You can put them in either in English or in German. I'll get back to them later when I'm finished here. And just cut that off out of the way. nice in those corners in here. And I'm hoping to get it off later without pulling some paint back, because I've just painted it about 1.5 hours ago, which is not really enough time for paint to cure. Even these chalk mineral paints, they cure very quickly, but for something like that, putting something sticky on top, I'd rather leave it at least overnight or something like that. But as I didn't have time to do the second layer before, get this around those corners and in these edges. Nicely. There we go. Don't worry, that's fine. Always do a little bit of the finished in a sec. So that it was lifting or not sticking properly when I pulled the transfer paper back. That's not unusual, because chalk mineral paints, they are porous, and obviously that doesn't stick very well to it. But sometimes when you don't need it, some things stick too well to it. So we see when we pull that stencil back later on, if we have the paint. I should have put it a bit more over to this side, but that's it. The nice thing about this rustic look is that it doesn't need to be perfect. For somebody like me, this painting is absolutely great, because I am a perfectionist with all the things I do. It's got to be perfect, especially with those rhinestoning and stuff like that. You know, it's just like not on that there's like a stone like set to the side or whatever. But with painting, because you never really can predict how the paint reacts and stuff like that, you have to give and take. So that's quite a good thing to calm down sometimes, especially for me. So get this nicely in there. Try to avoid a little bit of the bleeding. Why? It's going to be distressed eventually anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. So for stenciling, you could use, this is like a nice cute stencil brush. You see? It's like, it's got like a flat top and it's pretty hard, so you can really like stencil. But for me, that's just too small, because I am lazy and I'm using this. This is a brush which you can use for waxing and stuff like that also. It's got pretty hard bristles, so you can really push it in. And I'm using that for bigger stencil pieces, so I'm going to use that on here. So let's get my paints and see if you can see that there. I am, as I said, I'm doing the stenciling in black, which is the Dixie Belle Caviar, which is a really nice rich black, and shaked it up. You should always shake those paints up really well. And for stenciling, also to avoid bleeding, you just use like a little paint. You don't overload your brush. And what I'm doing, firstly, I'm using the paint out of the lid because there's always quite a bit paint in the lid. Just dab it in there, dab it on here to unload it a bit, and then I am just going to go over it like that, like stamping it up and down. That's all you're doing for stenciling. And you're not brushing, you're just dabbing up and down, because when you brush, the possibility that you push it under the tape or under your stencil is higher than when you only dab. And the board I'm using at the bottom to unload the paint is used to be a kitchen board, and it's like it's not degraded, it's upgraded to my painting. So a little bit of paint, unloading the brush, and that's basically what we're going to do. So you see, painting is also always a little bit of a workout. Later without pulling the paint back underneath. So as I said, when you worried about bleeding or something like that, you could do, instead of like straight away use your paint, put a coat of your either the paint color you're doing under, which is underneath, or you're doing a clear coat or anything first, and then you put the stencil on, because then the first coat is going to bleed under the stencil, and the second coat is going to be fine then and not going to bleed anymore. But I'm not too much worried about bleeding. It might enhance the character of the piece. So this is what I also like, sometimes the unexpected. Obviously, this is inspired by Kenny Roberts, but this is not a motorbike which is being painted. Obviously, you would worry there a little more about crisp lines and stuff like that. A bit more paint, unloading and carrying it on. Obviously it would be quicker if you would just like paint like that, but I don't want to have too much bleeding, so I'm doing it this way. This stencil, or this mask, is from Oracle. Nice thing about it is see-through, so you can, when you align it, you can see what's underneath, which is sometimes very helpful. So you can really put it over another line or something like that. Like here, for example, I had the like the line between the white and the yellow, and that's basically where I wanted to put the black line lining up this. So this was nice that you can see through there. A bit more paint. So what I basically noticed the last time, I always start off and my painting area is nice and tidy, and I'm only taking about at the most 10 minutes, and the whole place looks like a total mess. Everything is all over the place, which is also, for a perfectionist, not really me when I'm working. This is, but with painting, everything is just different. I like that. If you're wondering why everything is so wobbly here, I've got this table on top of some boxes, and to get it like a bit of to a working height. So whoever pops on later, just let me know where you're from, and maybe somebody is from this area, from Frankfurt area. Just let me know, or maybe you've been here or whatever. And maybe if you already use Dixie Belle paints, if you work with them, and what you think of them. Unload and carry on. Two coats anyway, even the black is covering really well. So I want to have it nice and rich and black stenciling. So I'm gonna do the sides at the end. See the tape's lifting there. Push that down. And those two lines, also black. For the lines I could have taped it off, but I thought I'm going to do that anyway with the stencil, so it's easier to have everything in one go. So, anything you have planned this weekend? Anything nice? How's the weather where you are? It's pretty cold over here. I think it was about 5 degrees tonight, which is for me just far too cold. I'm not a winter person. Absolutely not. I'm having mess around already. Whatever. Go. Just dab it up and down. As I said, you can you could brush like back and forth, which is obviously quicker, but I don't want to have too much bleeding, which can always happen with this paint, because the base coat is also this chalk mineral paint, which is porous, and this bleeds through, like that it bleeds under the stencil. That can just happen, so that the lines won't be that crisp. Therefore you dab it up and down to avoid that, or to not having it too bad. Plus, if you want to totally avoid it, you just put, instead of using your stenciling color for the first layer, you can use a top coat or something like that. Basically brush that on first onto the stencil, and then the lines are basically sealed from the stencil, and then when you come for the second coat, then with your paint color you want to use for your stenciling, it is then sealed and it won't bleed underneath. As I said, I'm not too worried about it. Ooh, what's this? Hair from the brush. Don't want to have that. So this is the first coat. I might come back with the little stencil brush and do the sides here. I just think I'm going to do that. See, it's just like almost dry. This needs painting. I feel, I know a lot of people who do it different. That's the way I do it, and that's the way I found works pretty good. So this painting, everybody has got his own philosophy, how they like to do certain things. Works out for you, it's just fine. This is basically just to give you an idea. If you want to try it yourself, you can also get the paints in my shop, which is linked in this video. The nice thing about them is that they are very environmental friendly. They are water-based, they've got absolutely no smell to them and no fumes. So this is what I really like about them, especially when you work indoors. So that's the first coat. I'm gonna come for the second one. Hair from the brush. Like that. This brush is losing some bristles. That's not very good. Try to get it off. Come on. So let's go for the second coat. Don't worry about the smears, it's on the stencil itself, it's not on the painted bit we have. Any questions by now? Am I seeing anything? No, not really. See a couple of people on. Don't be scared to say hello. So, this is now the second coat of the stenciling. As I said, just dab it up and down to not get the bleeding too hard. I've got to get a bit of paint out of there. You have like an almost dry brush. This is perfectly fine for stenciling. You don't need like a brush loaded with loads of paint. nicely. Can you actually see what I'm doing there? Here, I think that's fine. Guys, if you can't see or anything, you just gotta let me know, because I'm just basically seeing it on this, on the little screen of the iPhone, and I'm presuming you're seeing all right. That's what I can see, but I'm half blind anyway, so I'm not the standard of judging that. So if you want to see better, if I shall bring the camera closer or anything, please let me know. Put it in the comments. So while I'm doing this, I'm praying that the stencil, when I pull it up later, is not pulling the paint up with it, because as I said, I've just put a second layer on, oops, about 2 hours earlier, and the paint is not really cured yet. So usually I leave it overnight when I do something like that, so that the paint has really cured, and so we see what happens. So this paint, at the end, when this project is going to be finished, you don't need like any preparation for your piece. You don't need to put down a base coat or anything. You can basically just like put the paint onto anything. If it's like a slick surface like glass or something like that, or those laminated furniture pieces, you can put a product on. They've got also, which is called Slick Stick, which helps the paint to stick to the surface. But apart from that, the only thing you have to do to your piece is like a proper cleaning to make sure that there's no residues like grease or nicotine or anything like that left on the piece, and then you can basically go from there. And you don't need to seal your piece also. This is not necessary, but it gives, at the end, it gives like a nice sheen. I like to wax my pieces, and when it's got to be more durable, they've got certain top coats. They have one which is like a flat finish, which basically leaves like leaves the character of the paint. The paint is like got like this chalky flat finish, and the flat coat obviously keeps that finish. They have this coat in satin finish, and they have it in glossy finish. So glossy is like really shiny when you have when I have like a shiny piece, and the satin is just in between. It's just like a subtle, nice subtle sheen it gives to the piece. And the third one, this is the one I'm going to use on here. The third one is Gator Hide, and Gator Hide is the toughest finish they have for surfaces which are going to be used. And I reckon this is going to be a side table. There might be some drinks put on top or something like that. So this is then basically the toughest top coat. But if you have like a normal piece, like the sides or something like that, or the legs, I'm just gonna wax and nothing else. So then I'm just gonna do the sides a little bit, and then we are going to pull that off and see what it paint, because you can, as the paint is water-based, you can reactivate it. And as it wasn't really cured yet, when I'm working too hard on it now, that's basically what it does. It activates the white underneath, and that's not what I want. So I'll keep it a little. Corners don't need to be perfect because it's going to be distressed at the end. That's it. Now, guys, my stomach is aching because I'm scared to pull it back. Let's keep your fingers crossed, please. I shall just grab it carefully and pull it back, and I'm hoping, I mean, this material is especially made for painting, but as I said, I haven't been working with Dixievel paints before. Ooh, I like that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I do like that. Guys, look at that. I like that. Ooh, I'm happy. I am so happy. This is exactly what I envisaged it to be. Wow. What do you say? Huh? Am I getting some hearts from you? Ah. Hello. Hi there. So, look at that. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? This is exactly how I wanted it to be. Guys, you see, that worked out really well, and also the bleeding is not too bad, but I didn't do anything really to avoid it, so this is going to be a little distressed at the end, so I am not worried about that. That's for me, that gives some character to the piece. And there's hello Billy, hi there. Oh, thank you, that's sweet. Yeah, I like it too. This is really what those colors are. I think Kenny would be very, very proud. I hope so anyway. So guys, I'm already on here for almost 50 minutes now. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for watching this video and supporting me. If you haven't done it yet, please, please, please go and like my page, recommend me to your friends, maybe send the video to them, and I'm so happy to have you here, and yeah, I hope to see you the next time. I thought about doing the waxing, but the stenciling really took a while. It's not something which is done in about 2 minutes. So I'm going to do the waxing. I don't know if I'm going to do it over the weekend. My sweetheart is coming tomorrow. So as we have a long distance relationship for now, about 8 years now, I thought I'm going to do that as a present for him, and he's not on Facebook, so I thought, yes, I can do that. But I told him I'm doing some lives, and he was like actually Googling it, and even without being on Facebook, he found the videos that he's seen the piece yet. So obviously it's not a surprise anymore, but whatever, we see what happens with it. I'm really happy with the outcome now. Guys, thank you for popping by. I'm wishing you a very beautiful and nice weekend. You have a great time with whatever you're doing. Go and see your families and enjoy your time together. And I'll let you know when I continue the piece then. Thank you for popping in. Bye bye.